I'm really enjoying it. I really needed this at the moment. It's perfect for this weather. Breaking the spine as per usual, as we expect from Freya. I feel like I picked this up at the perfect time as well. Like I was really just craving a fun romantasy. What just happened? Hi my loves, welcome back, welcome to my channel. Welcome if you guys are new. This intro is going to be very short and sweet. We're going to get straight into the video, but I just wanted to say hi. And as you can tell by the title, this week I am basically going to be trying to read as much as I possibly can, get through as many books as I can. I have got some incredible books on my TBR. I feel like there's been some really great new releases recently that I want to get to. Basically a week of mood reading as much as I can. I'm really excited. I have been in such a reading mood at the moment. You know when you get in those moods where you just like the best part of your day is sitting down and reading a book. I'm back in that mood and I'm so happy about it. So that is what we're going to be focusing on today. But yeah, I hope you enjoy. I am going to be starting randomly on a Tuesday and then filming until next Tuesday. I just was really busy yesterday. So I was like, we'll start on a Tuesday and then we'll get an actual week. So yeah, anyway, that is the plan, but I hope you enjoy. Okay, I thought long and hard. Actually, no, not that long, not that hard. But I was kind of just going over the books that are on my TBR because I was like, let's prioritize our TBR for this month. My kind of goal for the week, it's been one of those like months where, you know, you're just busy. You just don't have the time to sit down and read like you'd want to. So my goal for this week is to just read as much as possible. I want to prioritize reading. I want to be making sure I'm taking time every night, every day to be reading, and I am going to be reading whatever I want. And it feels like a hot minute since I've done that. By the way, look at this cute little Kindle cover case thing situation. I got it sent to me from ST Oddity. Not sponsored or anything. I just think it's really cute. Also, I needed something to protect my Kindle properly. Okay, so first book, I want to make sure it's still on Kindle because I put this on my TBR at the beginning of the month. Yes. Okay, the first book we're going to be starting with is Recursion by Blake Crouch. Now, this is one that I have had very many people recommend to me. A lot of people said that they think I'm going to love it, but it's also one that people have said look up trigger warnings for. I know that this is a sci-fi, so we're definitely getting outside my comfort zone a little bit. All I know is that it is a sci-fi. We are set in like the modern world, and I believe our main protagonist, why is it not displaying? Okay, it's not displaying the photo, but I do have recursion there. Oh, I need to charge this. I believe our main protagonist is an FBI agent and he is trying to solve this mysterious illness that has come to light and has started to give society false memories. So that is all I know. I know it's like a mysterious illness, it's giving people false memories, it's playing with their mind, everything is kind of going crazy, and like that whole premise is amazing. And yeah, a lot of people have said that it's like Inception. Inception is one of my top 3 movies, so I am so excited to go into this. I have been warned that I may want to stay up late reading this, which I'm all here for, to be honest. So it's about 6:45 now. We have kind of snuggled down for the night. I put on a nice candle. It's still a little bit light outside, but it's slowly starting to get dark. So I feel like this is the perfect time to start Recursion. I'm actually really nervous. This has been one that's been intimidating me for a while, but I've only seen good reviews on it. So I have high hopes. I'm hoping it'll live up to it. Okay, you guys weren't kidding when you said that this was ridiculously addictive and I wouldn't be able to stop reading it. I am already at 45% through Recursion by Blake Crouch. I could not put this down. Every time I thought I was getting to a point where I was like, okay, things have slowed down a little bit. I can put it down. I can go to sleep. Something else happened and it hooked me straight away. So I just couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. It's taken a very different turn to what I was expecting, but in a good way. So the premise is pretty much what I said earlier. We are following our main protagonist, Barry. Well, we have kind of 2 main perspectives. We are initially following Barry. He is working as a police officer, I think in New York City. Do look up trigger warnings. You do have some pretty severe kind of topics talked about, especially within literally the first chapter. But yeah, we're following Barry. He's a cop. He has an encounter, let's say, with somebody who is suffering from false memory syndrome, which is like pretty much as it sounds. You kind of get all these memories input into your mind that are completely fake, and you kind of can't differentiate between what is a real memory and what is a fake memory. And you might have like this whole very realistic memory of an entire another life, but that life doesn't actually exist. It's completely fake. It's really hard to like find the difference in your brain and what is real, what is not real. Like, are you living in the real moment now? It's very trippy. It's very, very trippy. But honestly, the way Blake Crouch writes about it, it doesn't make it too hard to understand. I feel like that was my biggest concern going into this. As soon as we're playing with like memories and like, I don't know, unreliable moments, I'm like, oh, am I going to be able to understand this? Am I going to be able to follow it and understand like the plot twists and everything? Because I assumed there would be in this. And Blake Crouch writes in a way that is very easy to follow along and is very immersive, like very, very immersive straight away. So that's a really good sign. I feel like I want to try and finish it today. I'll see how we go, but I don't really want to tell you much more because I feel like going in with the little knowledge of this, and let's just say Barry keeps trying to track it down, is really good. Like, you just kind of keep going, what? Like, and I'm just like clicking each page. I'm just like, how did that just happen? As I said, we do take quite a different turn in direction than I was expecting, but I'm very much liking it. I'm very new to this genre, okay? I am new to science fiction. I have read very little in my life. I'm starting to understand the hype around it more. I'm starting to enjoy it a little bit more. Still a little bit intimidating for me though, okay? It's still definitely a little bit intimidating. These characters are also really interesting because I feel like I'm not really rooting for them. I'm rooting for what they're doing though. I'm not really like connected to them in any way, but I'm not minding that. Usually that's a really big turn off for me. Usually I'm like, no, I need to really find myself in these characters. I need to really be like egging them on and being like, I'm rooting for you, you can do this. But it's more like I'm rooting for the action that they're doing rather than them as a character. I don't know if that'll change throughout the book, but at the moment stakes are so high. One of those books that truly is just like a page turner. Like you cannot put it down, and it is very Inception-y. Like it's playing with your mind, but in a really immersive way that like you can follow, and like you're right there with the protagonist. Like you don't know what's true. So from what I can gather, are split into different books. So instead of different like chapters, well, we technically have different chapters switching POVs, but instead of like proper different chapters, like chapter 1, 2, whatever, we have 5 books that we're split into. So I am just starting book 3 now, anywhere from like 80 to 100 pages each. There's actually only like 330 pages in this book, so it's a lot shorter than I thought. So that's why I think I'm going to be able to, oh, I need to put this on charge. That's why I think I'm going to be able to like get through this pretty quickly. My mind is trying to play catch up right now. I'm trying to figure out what is going on, and I am loving it. I'm like, am I finding a new author to me? I'm very excited. Look, I don't know if I'm still just new to the whole sci-fi genre. I'm so confused. I feel like an ongoing theme with sci-fi books that I'm like starting to realize is that they're not always going to have definitive endings. Just the sci-fi books I've read, the very few I've read, it just feels different when you end them. Like it doesn't feel like a conclusion, but it does feel like a conclusion. It's just, I'm just not used to it, okay? I'm just not used to those kind of endings. I'm used to like a happily ever after in a romantic or something like that, or the journey ends and everyone's like happy and we succeeded in our thing and everything like that. Like, but also it's like, how do you end sci-fis? Guys, this was crazy. I don't think I've read a more like chaotic book. Just there was no point where I knew where this plot was going or what was going to happen or who to trust in our characters or what characters I could believe in. And there was not one point in this book where I knew what was going on, but like in a good way. Like I was still following the plot, I was still following everything, but like I didn't know where it was going, and I'm kind of just in shock. Like it was just so chaotic. So much happened. It was very much a like disaster book, and I love those kind of movies, but I've never read a book like this, and I definitely want to start reading more. I've got another one on my TBR actually, but like it's such a different experience. I feel like I'm just so invested the entire time, and I'm just on the edge of my seat the entire time because I'm like, I have no idea where this is gonna go. This could go in any direction and I would not be ready for it. I think I'm liking my sci-fi journey at the moment. I will say, in saying all that, it is a different experience in the sense that I don't feel very connected to our characters, and it's like this entire different version of reading, if you know what I mean. Like it's an entire different genre. I'm not like getting really emotionally connected to our characters. I'm more just like really invested in what's actually happening and how the plot's going to turn out as a whole. Not necessarily like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen to this character and I'm rooting for this character or something like that. Like you're rooting for them, but not for reasons because you love them so much. I don't know if that's just me. That might just be a me thing, okay? Don't take my word for it. But it kind of felt like watching a movie. I don't know how to explain that. Like Project Hail Mary, like that sci-fi felt like reading a book, but this one kind of felt like I was watching action going on. And maybe that is because I didn't feel as connected to our characters. Like I wasn't there with them. I was more just like watching from a distance, which I feel like was good for this plot as a whole. And I feel like I'm being so vague about this because I truly don't know how to describe it more. Like what just happened? My brain kind of hurts a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what I'm gonna rate this as a whole. I don't think it was a 5 stars. Like there was definitely things that I felt quite removed from, but it was a masterfully executed plot. Like this plot was insane. I never could have thought of this in my wildest daydream. I was so invested in it. and I still had no idea where it was going. It was such a well intricate thought out plot. The details were insane, guys. The details were absolutely insane. Definitely very outside my comfort zone, but I'm glad I've done that. I feel like this is one that's just gonna stick in my head for the next 3 to 5 business days, and I'm just not gonna keep like getting my head around what happened and like maybe putting pieces together still. I don't know. For our next book, I have 2 options that I was kind of thinking of, because I was like, I want to read tonight or this afternoon, but I don't know how much I will actually get read, and I don't really want to turn my brain on so much. So originally I was kind of thinking of going on to In Her Defense, which is, I bought this recently. It's a Reese Witherspoon book club pick. Obviously it's a contemporary fiction following a trial case. It sounds really, really interesting, but I'm just not sure if I'm feeling like that right now. I think I might leave that one for next. I also really want to read Starside by Alex Astor. This is an arc I got. This is a romantasy, so I feel like it could be really easy and fun to kind of just get lost in. Trials romantasy. I'll tell you more about the plot when I actually start reading it, so I know what it's about, but I think the world is divided into like the really powerful side and then the like less powerful side, and the less powerful side is like fighting to get to the more powerful side or something like that. So I do really want to read this one. Those are 2 on my TBR, but ones that are off my TBR is In Her League by Liz Tom Ford. That's her newest release. I really want to read that. That's a sports romance. And then Just Friends by Hayley Pham. I also bought that the other day. I kind of feel like a romantasy. I haven't read a romantasy in a hot minute. I read a romantasy at the beginning of the month, but it was like Hard Betrayal, so it wasn't like fantasy. It was like classic fantasy, whether I feel like this is like very fantasy kind of vibes. And I feel like I need that. I need something not very serious that I'm not going to get too emotionally impacted by. We've made a tiny bit of progress. It's the next night. I said this in my last vlog, but I have been feeling so burnt out recently. I don't know what it is, but it hasn't been giving me as much like motivation to read at night. I haven't been reading as much as I wanted to, but Austin's working night shift tonight and tomorrow night, so I think I'll be reading a lot. At page 82 of Starside by Alex Astor. So I've been reading a little bit tonight, and I'm hoping to get a little bit more into it tonight. I have like an aim of page like 200. I think we can get up to there. That's like another 120 pages. That's doable. I have a lot of thoughts so far, and I'm only 80 pages in, so I don't know what that's saying. But basically the plot of this book is that we are following what even is her name? We are following our protagonist Aris. She lives on the poorer side of this world. So basically Starside is the realm of magic and immortals, and Stormside is where mortals fight for scraps of magic. So Aris, I'm guessing that's how you pronounce her name. It's actually a unique one. I've never heard of it. She's in Stormside, and every 50 years basically this competition is held. I feel like this is very on brand for Alex Astor, where 50 challengers are allowed to journey across to Starside in hopes of competing in another challenge, and if you win that challenge you get to talk to the immortal gods. That's what I've gathered so far. Yeah, access to a pool of magic that can grant wealth or extend your life or basically whatever you want. However, our protagonist is a little bit unique because unlike everyone else competing in this quest, she wants to get revenge from these like gods or immortal people because they basically killed her entire family. So she's venturing through this to get revenge. So the actual plot I'm finding fun. Like I think it's a really easy, fun plot to follow, and I feel like Alex Astor always does that for me. Every book I've read by her, it's very entertaining, it's very easy to follow. Historically, should we say, the plot has never really been a problem for me with Alex Astor's books. I actually think they're quite fun, really entertaining plots. It's the characters that I really struggle to connect to, and usually the love stories. I'm assuming this is a romantasy. We haven't really gotten hints to a love story, but I'm sure we will throughout it. But I feel like another thing that's really confusing me with Alex Astor is her writing is the kind of writing that you want to read quickly, if that makes sense. It's not the kind of writing that you're going to spend a lot of time reading and appreciating this style of writing and appreciating how this sounds and how the world's put together and everything like that. It's very much the kind of writing that you just like almost skim, not skim, but like you just speed through. I'm trying to say this in a nice way. You don't want to dwell on it. And what I mean by that is I feel like it's a little bit repetitive. It's just using the same kind of descriptors like twice on one page or twice in one paragraph. I curl my fists into anger. That was used like twice in one page just before, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then this other thing, I'm not going to say what it is because it's literally gross, but like blood and stuff, a way of describing blood and everything was used twice in one paragraph on another one. And I feel like they're not necessarily like deal breakers or anything like that. Like it's not a big deal. It just makes it the kind of writing that you're not going to be spending a lot of time appreciating and being like, wow, this is really beautiful lyrical writing. Instead, it's the kind of writing that you're just going to like speed through and have a fun time and be reading it for the plot and to see where this this is going. I also wanted to say I'm kind of confused as to where this plot is going to go because we're only 80 pages in and we are already full action. We were pretty much action 20 pages in. Like there is a lot going on at the moment and I'm kind of like, where is this going to go from here? Like I feel like a lot of the blurb has happened within the first 80 pages and I actually like that, to be honest, because not everything is given away in the blurb, which very much can happen. Now I'm kind of just left like, okay, the premise has happened, now where do we go? Like what is gonna happen after this? I'm hoping I'll like this character a little bit more than her characters in the Lightluck series. So this is completely separate to the Lightluck series, by the way. It's her first adult fantasy. So completely separate world, and I feel like because she's had that experience with Lightluck, I'm hoping that this will be like a little bit more complex, to have good world building. I mean, she always comes up with a really fun like tournament aspect. Alex Esther does that all the time and I love it. Like I'm always here for a tournament aspect. So I think I'm going to curl up into bed and just continue reading this for tonight, and I'll update you in the morning and see how far we actually get into it. It's actually the next night or late afternoon. I'm having a very cozy Sunday. I'm already in my PJs because it got to 4 o'clock and I was like, you know what I feel like right now? I feel like having a really big shower, doing some self-care and getting into my PJs and reading my book. So that is exactly what we've been doing. I did reach my goal, my mini goal I set for myself last night, and now we are up to page 323, chapter 31. So well over halfway. I think we can finish it tonight. I will say I'm having a good time. This is the definition of just like a really fun fantasy book. It's kind of giving me the same vibes as I got whilst I was reading Diabound. Classic romantasy that feels so good to jump into when you're in the mood and when you can just absolutely binge it and have the best time and get immersed in a new magical world. That's what I'm really liking at the moment. So in terms of the magical world, I will say it's kind of giving me, I'm comparing it a lot. I don't know why, but like not that it's like really similar and like an obvious similar or anything like that. I'm just using it as comparisons to explain. In Crescent City, you know how there's just like so many different magical creatures, magical beings, magical things happening? That's kind of what it feels like in Starside as well. Like, I don't know if I want to say what they are, but we have a lot of mythical creatures. We have different mythical beings. We also have like these immortal people who are kind of like, think they're meant to be like descendant with the gods. We've got a lot of different mythical things going on, and basically our protagonist is journeying her way through Starside, and throughout that journey she's meeting different magical things. So with the whole trial aspect, there's like a mini little trial at the beginning to compete to be one of the 50 people who are allowed to adventure across Starside to reach the magic pool. And then you like basically begin this whole quest, and you might have allies and everything like that. So I'd say it's much more of like a quest challenge thing. The writing hasn't really grown on me. It's very simple. I think I like Alex Astor in an adult vibe more than a YA. I feel like she's having a little bit more fun, and like her personality's coming out in this writing. Like I love when you like when the writing has character, and I feel like in Lightluck it really lacked character, and that's kind of what took me out of it. This one I think has a little bit more. I think we're still getting there. Like I think she'll definitely develop as she continues to write more books, but I'm enjoying this a lot more than Lightluck, that's for sure. I feel like I picked this up at the perfect time as well. Like I was really just craving a fun romantasy, and it's just giving all the vibes that I want. We do have a little line of romance as well. I wouldn't say it's that prominent, which I'm really liking. It's very much a slow burn, to be honest. We're quite literally like, what, 3/4 of the way in, maybe 2/3 of the way in, and not a lot has happened, but there's been vibes established and there's been chemistry established. So I like that in my fantasy books, even when they're adult fantasy. I don't think adult fantasy has to mean spice. I'm saying this now. I don't know where this book will go, but yeah, I feel like there's always this talk that like adult fantasy means spicy romances, or like adult romantasy means spicy romances, but I don't think that has to be the case, or at least it can be the case, but like you can still have an incredibly good slow burn and establish a really great kind of vibe and like chemistry between our characters. And look guys, I do like a spicy scene when the slow burn has been like leading up to it. That's my favorite. I just don't like it when it's out of the blue, and I feel like that is a pretty common thing. Like things do just kind of get thrown at you sometimes. So I'm actually enjoying this a lot more than I thought I was going to. When I was first kind of into it, I was like, oh, might be fun, but I was kind of worried I was going to get a little bit bored, but it actually is a bit unique. The other thing I did want to say is our love interest, like our male love interest. I'm hoping to get a little bit more from him. I do like he's a very morally grey kind of character, and I like that aspect, but I'm waiting to get to know him and to understand why I'm gonna like him even though he's morally grey. That's what I want. Hopefully, fingers crossed we get it. But yeah, I feel like those are my thoughts at the moment. I'm having a really good time. last night I did end up finishing Starside by Alex Astor. It was actually pretty easy to finish. I really binged the end, and honestly, there was a plot twist I did not see coming. I probably should have seen it coming, but I think I was just so focused on everything else that I completely missed it. And honestly, like that actually, like this was a lot higher rated book than I thought it was going to be. I think I'm gonna rate it a 4 stars. I feel like the actual story as a whole, I did enjoy. Like the actual journey across this magical land with all these magical elements and so many high stakes, high action moments and meeting these different magical beings. Like that was so much fun and I really, really needed that. And it felt like a really fun time. The only parts I didn't really like was how repetitive some of the writing got in just describing action scenes or describing certain scenes in general and how our protagonist was feeling. And then I feel like the lack of consistency with the kind of magical world, like it felt like a bit of everything, which is fun, don't get me wrong, but I do think a little bit more consistency probably could have helped that. That's just my opinion though. In terms of like actual fun vibes, it was a great time. I had a really, really good time. I think it's one of Alex Astor's better works, to be honest. I have read like a lot of her books without kind of realizing. I've just kind of been reading them, but that one I think is definitely my favorite by her so far. I was pleasantly surprised with that ending. Overall, I think it was a fun romancy book. The romance, there were times I really, really liked it, times I didn't, and by the end I liked it, but not for the reasons you might think. We did get more character development from our male main protagonist, which you know I was wanting, so I guess that's a plus. The next book we have gone on to is Just Friends by Hayley Pham. I thought a cute little romance might be fun. I started this very briefly last night and then I've been reading a little bit today. We are at page 86, so a little bit through. Depending on how busy I get tonight and how long my assignments take me, because I got 2 assignments, we'll see how much more I get read from this because it's already 3 o'clock at the moment, but I'm having fun. I feel like this is so weird to say, but like, you know, when this was initially like briefs or copies initially went out, there was lots of comment on how bad the writing is and how it felt like she just got a thesaurus. Like, I'm not saying that I said that at all because I only am just reading it, but lots of people were saying it felt like she just got a thesaurus for a few words. The first chapter was the worst chapter. It wasn't a bad chapter by any means, but I feel like that hasn't really happened since the first chapter, which I'm really, really pleasantly surprised with. I am starting to feel her voice come through in her writing, which is really exciting. A very cute little main protagonist. We're basically following Blair, and obviously this is Hayley Pham's debut novel. She has just graduated university and was set up with this consulting job in New York, but her aunt, who basically raised her as a kid, like really helped raise her with her mum, has gotten very, very ill. So she has gone back to her hometown of Seabrook to help look after her aunt, and while she is there, she's like, I may as well work a little bit, earn some money. So she applies for a job at the local coffee store without realizing that Declan, her kind of old best friend, but then something happened that made them more than friends, and then something else happened that tore them apart, owns and manages. So it's like a childhood friends situation, I guess. I'm having a good time so far. There definitely is a good amount of depth to this, which I'm really, really happy about. I really wanted that. And obviously not too much to say so far because we're only 80 pages in, but I'm really excited to get into this. Also, it's a really warm day today, so perfect for reading this. And now you might be like, Freya, they're your only updates, right? No. I've been waiting to update you on this one because I have also been listening to an audiobook on and off this week, and I wanted to give you an update on that. So the audiobook I am re-listening to, like rereading technically, is none other than Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Lots of you have been begging me to do a reread of this, and I finally decided to. I'm not very far through, okay, but I just thought it was far enough to give you an update. We are like 70 pages through, so a little dense. Sorry, that's from when I read it last time. The break in the spine, as per usual, as we expect from Freya. But I'm doing a reread via audiobook, which is kind of different for me. I've never done a reread on an audiobook before, so I'm liking my experience. I'm doing the graphic audio, which basically means there are a bunch of like sound effects and sci-fi noises and everything like that going on in the background of this audiobook. And also they have Irish accents in the audiobook, which I love so much. It does mean though that I can't listen to the audiobook like times any speed. Like I listen to it on the normal speed, because if you're like times 2 speed with this graphic audio, all the little sounds like pew 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 pew, and like it's just, it doesn't sound good, and like then they're talking in this Irish accent, like, and it's so quick already. So it's taken me a lot longer to get through this one, but I've just kind of been listening to it on and off, I'd say since like Thursday or something like that of last week, and I'm gonna listen to it a little bit more when I go on my afternoon walk. It's a reread, so I feel like I don't have that many thoughts to give to you guys, but enjoying the audiobook experience. I didn't hate this book by any means. I just wasn't very invested in it, and not as invested as I thought I would considering the hype surrounding it, but I have had a lot of people say that, and then the rest of the series gets better. I still remember that plot twist like after part 1, and I was like, what just happened, when I first read it, and honestly it had a pretty similar effect the second time through. So yeah, anyway, I'm gonna keep listening to this today as well. It is Monday, by the way, so we're gonna end this vlog tomorrow, but by the end of tomorrow, so we see what I read on Tuesday as well. I am pretty close to finishing Just Friends by Hayley Pham. I read a lot of it last night. It's a very easy book to read. It's really cute and simple. The early morning, I'm about to go film podcast, but I'm gonna try and read as much as I can before I start filming for the day, and then I think we'll just finish it afterwards. Last night, I really just binged this. I read so much of it so quickly. It is such a cute little romance. I will say, I really like Blair as a main character. I think she's really cute. I wish we got a little bit more to Declan. I feel like he kind of feels like a side character when he's clearly one of the main characters, and I kind of want to know a little bit more about him, but I do like what we know of him. I also really like the balance of emotional depth to our characters, but it's not too much. It's not dragging you down too much. It's enough to keep it a light, fun romance read, but still gives them a little bit of depth. Gives our characters depth, that is. I'll talk more about it later when I actually finish it. I feel like we're about to get to the third act breakup, which I'm kind of confused. Like, I'm just guessing because we've got like 50 pages left and nothing bad has happened between our relationship, so I'm kind of just waiting for that to happen. If it happens, maybe there won't be a third act breakup. It kind of is giving YA romance, but like Emily Henry meets Lynn Painter. That's what I'm getting from it, which makes a lot of sense because of that, like two of Hayley's favorite authors. Emily Henry in the sense that there's a bit of depth to our characters, as I said, it just has a very similar vibe to her, but Lynn Painter in the fact that it reads quite YA, which is kind of interesting because technically our characters are young adults, so I would expect a little bit more from them. It's a little bit confusing to me. Apart from that, I'm really enjoying it. I really needed this at the moment. It's perfect for this weather. I feel like this is the first like real summer romance I've read this year, which is crazy. Literally not even properly summer anymore. It's autumn. It's still just quite warm. But overall, I really like it. I feel like Hayley's really found her voice throughout this book as well. Like I feel like at the beginning I was like, maybe I'm just getting used to it. I don't know, but I was like, oh, it's good. It's okay. And now I'm like, oh, there's a lot of like personality and character to this writing. I feel like she's honestly just like developing throughout this book as a writer, as well as the character developing. I don't know. And I also see Hayley a lot in the main protagonist. It's later in the day and I did finish Just Friends. It's Tuesday, by the way. It was a cute ending. Like it was a very wholesome, fun, light-hearted, gentle kind of read. I feel like that's the best way I could describe it. I would recommend it. I think if you just want to have a feel-good read, one that makes you believe in love, that kind of thing, I would read it. Especially if you're curious to see what Hayley Pham's writing is like. I feel like you can see where she drew inspiration. I feel like it's a very unique situation with this book because I so rarely go into books knowing about the author before I've read them. Like I know Hayley as a booktuber and as a reader primarily, and then as a writer. Like now she's become a writer. Whereas every other book I go into, even if I know the author, I know them as an author. I don't necessarily know like their personality and what books they love to read and everything like that. So I think it's a really unique experience to be reading this. And I do think it's quite cool. I think it's really fun. I love supporting other booktubers as well. There's a little annotated chapter in the back. I don't know if this is just in the first print, but yeah, there's a little annotated chapter in the back, which I think is really cute to see kind of how she was doing her read-throughs, everything like that. Also, Lynn Painter did blurb it up the top here, which I think is really cute. A bit of a full circle moment for her. Overall, I really liked it. I'm not exactly sure what a rating I'm gonna do. I'm thinking 3.75. That's still a good rating, okay? It just didn't tick all of my boxes, and I just don't think I'm really one for like younger YA romances. I haven't been reading a lot of romances recently, to be honest, just in general, but I think I usually prefer my romances to have a little bit more, I think emotional depth is what I want, and that sometimes comes in the form of trauma or something like that. It obviously wasn't the spice thing. Like you guys know that I'm not a big spice person, so I actually really liked that this was a closed door romance. It was quite refreshing, but overall, I really really good read and I would recommend it. In terms of our next read though, obviously we only have like 1 day left in how much I can read in a week, so we're not going to finish any book, I don't think. But I do want to start another book, and I think that is going to be one I talked about earlier, and that is In Her Defense by Philippa Malika. I'm really excited about this one. It is contemporary fiction, I guess we'd call it, like lit fic. And as I said, it is a trial. We are following a court trial. So for a little synopsis, I'm just going to read the back. It says, wealthy and famous Anna Finbow stands in court accusing her therapist Jean Guest of brainwashing her daughter Mary to gain access to her trust fund. Jean claims that the dark memories she's helped Mary uncover are real, that therapy has offered her a chance finally to heal from childhood trauma, and she would be better off away from her family's damaging influence. But I'll tell you now, you shouldn't believe either of them. So I think this is going to be really fun. Definitely a bit of a deeper, more intense read, but I'm really, really excited to delve into it. I haven't read a book like this in, well, I guess I read Broken Country this month, but I'm getting into my lit fic journey a little bit more. And I think, like, I haven't heard anyone talk about this one. So it's exciting to go into books you've never heard anyone rate or talk about or review. So yeah, I think this is going to be our next read. In terms of Red Rising, I've only listened to 1 or 2 more chapters. I'm having a good time, really liking the graphic audio. Even though I know where the plot is going as a whole, the plot twist is honestly still hitting, and there are a lot of details that I don't explicitly remember. So it's fun to be back in that world. I read it like 2 years ago, so definitely a lot of details I'm not quite remembering, and I feel like I'm, yeah, just delving back into it. It's Wednesday now, but I wanted to give you a little update on my reads before we end out the week. I didn't get too much done for either of these. I've listened to 3 more chapters, I think, of Red Rising. So making our way through it, it's so weird for me listening to a book purely on audio. I think I've only done that a few times, and that was more last year. I usually purely listen to audiobooks on like my busy weeks when I can't really read much, but I still want to be getting pages in every day. But it's kind of hard doing a reread. I'm glad I'm not fully vlogging this because I feel like my thoughts are very similar at the moment because I'm so early days. By the time I've ended this book, like I've finished this book, which I don't think will be before the end of the month, but by the time I finish it, I'll be able to give you my full thoughts and see if they've changed at all. I did read a little bit of In Her Defense. This is unlike anything I've ever read before. I'll say that now. We are kind of from the perspective of Anna Finbow, so our Finbow, our kind of one of our main protagonists, I guess, in this court case. We are from the perspective, I'm guessing, I don't know, someone very close to her. We don't know yet, but like somebody very, very close to her. So I don't know whether it's an assistant or anything, but it's almost like looking at this trial from a completely objective view. Like you have this whole view that's very, very unique. You're not following, like you are following one of the defendants because we're very much been focusing on Anna at the moment, but like it's not like you're in her mind at all. You're seeing it all from an objective view. So this is going to be really, really interesting, I think. The way it is written is quite thought-provoking. So I think I'm definitely going to be reading it maybe a little bit slower, just like as in I'll have to take a lot of time to focus on it. But I'm so curious to read this. I think it's going to be a really different kind of book for me. I've also had a few of you say you've heard about it but haven't seen anyone read it yet. And as I said, I haven't seen anyone read it. So once I finish it, obviously I'll talk about it in my wrap up so I can give you my full thoughts on it because I'm very curious. I'm very excited. This is outside my comfort zone. We've done a few books outside my comfort zone. This is outside my comfort zone, to be honest. But yeah, that is my little mini update at the moment. 2 books at once. Who is she? Yeah, that brings us to the end of this vlog, the end of the week. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you had a fun time watching. Thank you so, so much for watching to the end. If you have, it truly means the absolute world to me. I love you guys so, so much, and I will see you in my next video.